1, 2. Check. Check. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2.
Hello. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Yes, I think so. Microphone. You're not going to hear in the room, just for the streaming. No. Yeah. So because the difference with the Simon, the room yesterday, they have a microphone, so they have speaker. Those classroom here, those they have the speaker for the microphones. They have speaker maybe just for the computers, but not for the microphone. So even if people doesn't hear that one, they have to talk to the microphone for the streaming. Yeah.
And then is that one for me again?
Yeah. I'll tell you something. That lady from yesterday from Oviedo, show up, give the microphone to.
To do what?
The lady that came yesterday from Oviedo, show up, give the microphone to her. I forget the name, but come on, girl.
Okay, he set for website views.
Oh, website, no, that computer doesn't work over there. It has to be there. We have a laptop for the back. Yeah.
You can get on the website, but it won't go to the
Oh, it doesn't project up there? Okay. Oh, can you go to the website for me then? Okay. All right. Let's get this started. George. George.
You have to see the microphone in this one. Yeah. Look, you.
Oh, that's fine. So we good?
I think we're good.
Hello, everyone. My name's Tiffany Mobeck. Welcome to day 2 of Interactions. We are going to go ahead and get started with George from Business. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. We got an overflow crowd here. I don't know if you can see it or not. Very impressive. First of all, let me say that we so much appreciate the work that all of you do. The way that you take care of our students, the way you advise our students, we very, very much appreciate it. And we realize what a difficult job that you've got. So just know that you are appreciated, and especially by people in our department. Okay, so let me talk a little bit about our area. My name is George Bernard. I'm the program manager for business administration. And when I say business administration, I'm talking about the AS degree in business administration. Now, within that degree program, within that umbrella, we have several specializations. We've got them coming up here on the screen. We've got a human resources management specialization. We've got a management specialization, marketing and sales. And if you could scroll down for me, Jaime. Okay, marketing and sales, whoops, a little bit higher, if we could go right below. Okay, insurance risk management, and then if we could go down a little more. Okay, we have an AS to BS specialization for students that want to pursue the business and information management degree program. And we also now have a logistics specialization. Now we have a 2-year degree in logistics and supply chain management, but we're discontinuing that degree. However, we have taken that and we have folded it into the AS and business administration degree, and we've called the specialization logistics. So if you have students that are interested in supply chain management, they can still pursue the specialization by doing the AS and business administration and specializing in logistics. And then we have a general specialization, and that is pretty much what it says, that you can pick and choose the courses that you want to take depending upon your interests. Now, 2 of them that I want to talk about, the first one is the AS to BS. As everyone knows, we have a very successful 4-year business and information management degree. Very, very successful. The interim program manager of that degree is Dr. Beener, who is seated out here in the audience, and he's going to come up and speak. And I also wanted to mention that we also have this insurance risk management specialization. Now, if a student pursues this specialization, they're qualified to receive 3 insurance licenses upon completion. Now, there's a little bit of confusion with this because they have to be pursuing the AS degree and graduate with the degree and the 3 courses to receive these 3 licenses. But the fact is that they don't have to take an exam. They can go ahead and get the licenses, and then they can hit the ground running and get right to work. Now, I also wanted to mention that we are currently working on a Bachelor of Applied Science degree in Management and Organizational Leadership. And the reason for this is that the Business and Information Management degree program, a great program, but it's not really suited for every student that we have. And we have students that want to pursue a bachelor's degree in business, and they don't want to leave the college, which is understandable, right? Because we provide small classrooms, we provide so much support, the financial costs obviously are much lower. So we're working on that application, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed, and we'll keep everybody updated as to what's going on. But it's really a good degree for someone that has an AS degree and wants to transfer in and get a bachelor's degree. And the math requirements are not as rigorous as what we have for the business and information management degree. All of you know that within that degree program we have the Magic 7, right? We have financial accounting, we have managerial accounting, we have statistics, we have macro and microeconomics, and we have computer applications, but the killer is that calculus course. And all of you are probably well aware of the issues with that. Okay, so we're not going to have the calculus course in this BAS degree. The highest level of math required will be college algebra. We will have statistics, and we will have financial and managerial accounting. But just taking away the stigma of that calculus course, I think, will guide a lot of students towards that new degree program. Anybody have any questions for me? Any questions? Anybody out there in cyberspace? Do they ask questions, or because we're streaming this, right? Okay. Any? No. Okay. Well, listen, I've already I work with such a great team of people here. They applauded me when I walked up here, and they're getting ready to applaud me again. But I want to applaud all of you for the work that you do and the way that you take care of our students. Thank you all so much. Thank you. Okay, next on our list is Dr. Chris Beener. Thank you so much.
And you notice they didn't clap when I got up here. What a team. So I'm the program manager currently for the Bachelor of Science in Business and Information Management. And as George mentioned, it has a heavier math focus. The degree is not a traditional business degree. It's more of a hybrid where half of it is business management and half is information management. And the idea is that as a business manager, you'll receive data and reports, and how do you make decisions with that? So probably half the students end up in a management role. The other half end up in more of an analyst role where they're working in the back room, taking data and making recommendations to the company. So that's the focus. I'm not going to say a lot about it. We've had it here for like 8 or 9 years. Over 900 students currently enrolled. It's a pretty robust and mature program. I want to talk a little bit about the specializations. We started out a few years ago, we added a supply chain management specialization, which actually did phenomenal compared to our AS degree, which did pretty well. We had 30 or 40 students there, but we have well over 100 students in the supply chain management. So again, you take the BIM core and then you take 4 supply chain management related courses to get that specialization. We added an entrepreneurship specialization, human resources management. We have an interdisciplinary, if you're not sure what you want to do, or if you transferred from another college with some business courses, then we can put those into electives and then you can get the BIM degree. We have a recently added social marketing and e-analytics, I think is what we call it, degree, and social media. And it's not like how to do social media, how to make yourself look good and your company look good. It's more, again, with the focus of BIM, it's data analysis. You're in the back office, you have 100,000 followers at your company on Facebook. What are they looking at? What do they want? And how do we market to them? And how do we retain them as customers? So it's more of an analytical process. And then beginning this fall, we are launching a specialization in sustainability management. And the focus being, there's a lot of talk of sustainability and globally. And so the focus will be people in management roles who want to incorporate sustainability initiatives or manage sustainability within the organization. And I want to segue from that. We've done something recently. We've started launching post-baccalaureate certificates, one in social media and the e-marketing. And I apologize if I'm not quoting the exact name correctly, but it's the same concept. You have a degree, you're in a marketing department, business department, and you want to specialize in social media and the analytic aspect. You come back here, you already have your degree, you take 6 courses, and you may have already had some of them if you're in the BIM degree, so maybe you only take 4 courses or 3, and you earn a post-baccalaureate certificate. So for the student who says, I don't want an MBA, I don't have time, I don't want to make that investment, but I want to further my education, that is currently available. We have a few students already enrolled, I think one graduating soon with that post-bac. The other one that we're actually launching this summer is the sustainability management. We've made that into a post-bac certificate. And the idea behind that, I've met with a lot of people, it's kind of a passion and an area of expertise of mine. I've met a lot of people that have said, we're launching a sustainability initiative with city government, business, a hotel. What do we do? I've put someone in charge of it. I put George in charge, and George is like, okay, sure, but how do you launch a sustainability initiative? So you might have a business management degree, you know how to manage, but how do you make a sustainability department? Or You might be a biologist, urban planner, natural resources manager, forestry officer, and you understand the environment, but you don't understand the management. And so this course will be, there's 3 core courses in management, operations management, and HR management, because anyone with any 4-year degree from a regionally accredited institution can take this certificate. So whatever your background, you don't have management, we will give you 9 credits of management experience. If you have the BIM degree, if you have a degree from another institution in management or business, we will look at the courses, may even waive some of those. But the idea is to make sure you have a management understanding, how to run a program or department. And then the other half is specific to sustainability, and you select 3 courses from any 6, and it gives you the flexibility, or the students the flexibility, that there's one in sustainable business strategies. There's one in the sustainable enterprises, where whatever organization you learn about how do I make any kind of organization sustainable. There's one in hospitality and ecotourism. Hospitality, I think our number 1 industry in the state of Florida, and ecotourism growing globally, people wanting to travel and maybe feel like I did something good for the planet. There's a course in government sustainability and resilience for people that work for a city government or a transit authority, a port authority, and say my focus is government, a course to focus in that, and natural resources management course, and the option of a internship, that if you want to actually get hands-on experience. I have colleagues at City of Orlando, Orange County, OUC, and a growing number of organizations that say we'd love to have an intern get some experience and help us with analysis or whatever. So it kind of gives a student a broad background that wherever they come from, they can say, I can make this post-bac certificate work for my industry and what I'm doing. That's what we're up to. Any questions? What about out there in the ether? Any questions? No? All right, again, and I'll reiterate what George says. Thank you for all that you do for keeping our students, calm, cool, and collected and completing. Thanks a lot.
Good afternoon. I'm Michael Petrillis, the program manager for the Hospitality and Tourism program, the new program here at Seminole State College. And these are, these are exciting times for the industry, and we look at all the possibilities, both with the tourism piece, the hotel, the restaurant management, as we'll see. And just within Seminole County and Orange County, the tourism and the number of tourists that are coming into this greater Central Florida area, more than 75 million tourists, and the projections are is that will continue to increase over the next 5 to 10 years at a rate of 4% per year. So the number of jobs that are going to be available to individuals desiring to work in the hospitality and tourism industry are just absolutely incredible, and the potential is there. Before coming to Seminole State, I was in Dubai for 3 years just to show you the difference and the comparison and contrasting. In Dubai, their goal for 2020 was to have 20 million tourists. And, here in Orange, Seminole County, Central Florida, last year alone we had over 75 million tourists coming into this area. So the amount of business and the travel and tourism and the impact that it has on the hospitality industry. Our program objectives are to prepare students for entry-level positions in the hospitality and tourism industry within Seminole County and Central Florida. So they are not going to walk out day one and go into the general manager's office of a full-service 5-star luxury hotel. They are going to start out, and the thing that is different with hospitality and tourism from other programs. If someone was going to study a liberal arts curriculum, they may not even have to have a summer job. But with the hospitality and tourism industry, especially in this area, I don't know why you wouldn't want to. And working in the industry while you're attending school is critical. And building that resume of job experience will put you upon graduation with an associate degree, into an entry-level supervisory position at a front desk as a restaurant shift manager, in the kitchen as a line cook, as a tour guide or travel agent. So those would be the entry-level positions. That we're also delivering current and relevant theory-based of what are the current practices and theories, and then blending that with the practical piece, the hands-on experience through internships and site visits and guest speakers coming into the class that provide the foundation for lifelong learning, where to go and get this information as the industry is constantly evolving. Integrate the values of professionalism. If you look at the Ritz-Carlton hotels, their motto, "We are ladies and gentlemen serving ladies and gentlemen." So the industry really views themselves as professionals, and so we instill that as a value in our students in every one of our courses throughout our curriculum. Service, the importance of customer service. And one of the things, whether you go out into a hotel or a restaurant, or you go to the mall into a store, we're seeing changes in customer service. You might not see a service representative for that business 3- and 4-fold in that operation. You may have to go around the store or wait a little longer in the restaurant for someone to approach you to serve you. So the importance of service. What are the touch points that we actually have an interaction with a customer, and how do we manage that experience from start to finish? From the time they call to make a reservation to the time they leave the establishment. And that entire experience and all the touch points along that, throughout that contact. Ethics, the importance of ethics, making ethical decisions. As my father always said, do the right thing. So really teaching about the importance of ethical decision making, managing a business, understanding that the owners expect a return to the bottom line, a return on their investment. So how are we managing that as if it was our own checkbook? Excellence and the always striving for excellence. As Vince Lombardi said, we are in relentless pursuit of victory, and along that path we will achieve excellence. So how to set the bar for excellence throughout your organization. And the importance of community. Being involved in the community, everything is local. Even though you may be working in a franchise business within the hospitality and tourism, your local customers and how you're serving that local community and being involved in that local community is critical. And then program pathways for students. It could be, we have direct connect to University of Central Florida. University of Florida has a new program in event management, and students may transfer into either one of those schools. Florida International also has a pathway. And then obviously continuing on, we know our students will like the experience here at Seminole State so much they will want to continue on, and that will be through our business and information management program. Staying here, the smaller class size, the engagement of the faculty, the experience of the faculty, the cost. All of those are reasons why someone would choose to continue on here after earning their associate degree. Pictures of students and what they'll be doing in the industry. Obviously, the program vision is overall, it's an associate degree, 2-year degree. There's a specialization in hotel management, a specialization in restaurant management, and then recognizing some of the evolving pieces of the industry, the importance of entertainment, especially here in Central Florida, and the events management, that is a real attractive piece. people that students that come and express an interest in event management, they all want to be a wedding planner, and 90% love the show Say Yes to the Dress and all the integral parts of planning a wedding. Microbrewery operations, that specialization, and then wine marketing and merchandising. The importance, we're seeing a trend where some of the baby boomers are moving away from wine and into the effervescent spirits that are carbon made, and away from wine. That trend, they'll come back to wine. And the importance of not just promoting wine as a beverage, but mixing in the food and the cultural piece. And so we recognize that important in the merchandising of it. What are the different wines, and how do we introduce to the customer wines? There's a wine that you can purchase right now out on the market where you pour half of a glass out, and then you put the top back on and shake the bottle up, and then you pour, obviously, that next portion into a different glass. They taste radically different. And it's just a chemical reaction within the wine and how it's produced. It's amazing. So it's these introductions of new products into the marketplace will change how we view wine and change the offerings of wine and the pairings of the food as well. Certifications along the way, whether it's Serve Safe, whether it's alcohol server awareness, safety, whether it's front desk management certification through the American Hotel Lodging Association. At touch points along the 2 years in the associate degree program, we will make available certification exams for the students to obtain those certificates as they move through our program. The curriculum, obviously you can see we have the general education courses required through the state and the college, then the required courses, obviously the introduction to the business, introduction to hospitality. As I'd mentioned, the guest service, the importance of that and professionalism in a course, budgeting, marketing, and then the elective courses, be it in the hotel specialization or in the restaurant, whether it's the culinary principles of restaurant management or whether it's front office and housekeeping management. And then student engagement and involvement. We have already, we began our first class this past fall, and with 70 students. We have 72 students in the program right now this spring. We expect that to double by next year, hopefully, with all of your support. And our first engagement was having students attend the Latin Grammy Master Series offered through the sponsorship of University of Central Florida and the Rosen Hotel College. So a number of our students attended this event and saw all of the steps along through the process of their students planning this event, and we attended that entire production. And then a number of high-profile executives, bringing them into the classroom, and so bringing industry into the class and then taking the class out into the industry so they can see what is actually happening in the industry. As I said, taking the class out into Central Florida, and this is probably one of the premier incubators, learning laboratory in the world with all of the different, whether it's hotels, restaurants, events, parks, theme parks, that students can go out and experience firsthand what's currently happening right in the industry and what trends are emerging. So this is the best laboratory in the entire world. Bringing the industry into the classroom, real-world problems, having our students solve some of these problems and make presentations to industry leaders, and then applying the classroom theory to the real world through internships and then ongoing work experiences. And then questions. Any questions? Thank you very much, and thank you for all of your, all that you do, all of your hard work, and I look forward to welcoming next year's class to the college. So thank you very much.
Thank you. We are going to go ahead and just take a short break at the moment. Okay? Thanks.
Hello, everyone. My name is Marcus Williams, and I represent the Advising and Counseling Department. And I am a student retention and completion specialist. My partner over here, Mark Leckeback, he also is a fellow student retention and completion specialist. We are primarily here to kind of fill in and talk to you about performance funding, where it is currently, where we are right now, some things about what our measurements are looking like and what we're doing to kind of try to move things along throughout this year. Primarily, I know some of you may not be familiar with what performance funding or retention completion is. Primarily what we're looking at are finding ways in the college system to raise retention and completion ratios. So retention being that our students who are returning to classes each semester, trying to find out the time frame between them starting in the fall with us and coming around the next year fall again to see how many students we have retained. Essentially with that completion of every semester, we are looking at students who are in these cohorts who have completed a certificate or degree. So in that, those numbers start to accumulate and we start to see funding based on those measurements. The way we kind of track those students looks different than what maybe actual advisors are doing with their cohort or groups of students. We look at these students a little bit more closely and a little more intimately because we are trying to make sure that they have all the steps and all the procedures before they move on with each semester. So we have different initiatives that we have coming out this semester alone, but even in the past we've done a lot, whether it has been something to kind of kickstart students before they start as a student with us, or even doing pop-ups all around campuses. We're trying to also get to other campuses as well to get things moving along and get some presence out there and let them students know and the faculty and staff out there know that we're trying to do a whole holistic approach to trying to get advising and counseling and more face time with our students. But one thing that we traditionally do throughout each month is running degree audits for students who have accumulated over 42 credit hours, 48 credit hours or so and above. And we send out individual emails to those groups of students. Essentially, it could be an educational plan and a follow-up from an advisor that may have reached out to them already. We also do comments on their students' accounts to let them know for the next advising session they may have that this is what we discuss with the student via email, text, or phone call. We also, when it comes to completion, we are reviewing students who may be nearing those last semesters that we get them the intent to graduate and they go through the graduation procedure as well. And we talk about the next steps after graduation, if they're planning on taking any prereqs here with us and staying a little bit additionally or doing another degree with us or transferring to our bachelor's programs. We all have that discussion just like an advisor would as well. We do a lot of mass email and texting as well to our students who are in our retention databases. And those are groups of students who come in each year, whether part-time or full-time. We track their progression as well throughout the time that they're here with us to make sure that they're making positive progression to completing their credentials. We additionally reach out to students who are in a negative academic standing, whether it be academic probation or academic suspension. For academic probation students, we do a little bit of information, tutorial discussion saying, this is where you are, this is where you can be, this is what you could be doing for grade forgiveness, and having more of that conversational piece to say, this is how you could be doing better. As far as our academic suspension students, we do a little bit of a outreach in various ways to see if the student wants to return for the next following term or if they rather sit out. And we have that discussion and say, okay, let's be realistic here. What might be transpiring currently that might be in the way at this time? What might be a potential barrier to you? And we kind of go through that and say what might be the best option for you at this point in time to transpire to another good portion of academic progression in a positive manner. With those students know they have to do the petition for re-enrollment, and we kind of get them through that next step. Graduation denials, part of my team looks at those groups of students who have been denied graduation for various reasons, whether it might be the student who did not adequately complete enough credit hours for their credential, or they may have some incomplete grades or some type of issues with transcripts or whatnot. We troubleshoot and figure out those scenarios and issues for those specific students and try to help them get that credential that they so deserve. Okay, and that also, in the end, helps our numbers as well. So we want to make sure every student has the opportunity and the potential to be able to receive the credential that they were pursuing. And additionally, we have partnered with the admissions team, who normally tries to reach out to any student who has been dropped or removed from their class, whether it be for non-payment or class cancellation or something like that. We reach out to those students to let them know that they either need to make a payment on a class if they plan to re-enroll in it, or they need to make sure that they have the class requirements met for specific classes that they try to enroll in. If anything comes back once we're having those conversations with those students, they will let us know how to proceed from there. But we're always trying to make sure that retention and completion is on our primary focus in one way or another. Okay. And I think, okay, so I'll talk about this and then I'll let you talk about the next one. So how do we raise those retention completion efforts that we see before? And I know I mentioned something with you additionally to saying we kind of start students even from the beginning stages. One of the things that we instituted 2 years ago was a summer math academy program. I'm not sure if many of you have heard that at the other campuses, but specifically at the Sanford Lake Mary campus, we have tried to push that academy program, which we'll be doing again this year and this summer, pending everything goes well with what's happening right now in the particular climate. But the Summer Math Academy program was primarily a response to how we were noticing when we were reviewing audits for students who are graduating that many of them have saved math as a subject area to the last bit, where they're the last semester or two and they have their last remaining math classes to take and they were struggling. They may have taken it a few times already and they just cannot get past it. So what we decided to try to do is see what was the barrier for them to not be able to take that initially in the beginning of their actual course sequence. So we teamed up with the financial aid department. We teamed up with the tutoring academic success center, as well as the math department itself to kind of put together a class for the summer for the B session where these students can come and take, these high school seniors will be graduates, can come and take this class in the summer term by itself with the tutoring support embedded in the classroom as well as outside of the class if needed. They also receive scholarship or tuition assistance for the class itself along with a book code for the particular course. And they also received workshops, free workshops and lunches to go along with the class sessions for the students to be able to attend. And we noticed that this had a lot more, a better success rate for students who were in this cohort or group, just because they already had an area where they can actually focus on something entirely altogether for 6 weeks and then move into the college setting for their full-time load of what they decide to take from there. But also this kind of eliminates some of the stress and anxiety that a lot of the students had regarding that particular subject area that I know most of us kind of feel some type of way or anyway about. But we will be continuing that this upcoming semester. If you are out there as a specialist or an advisor and you know you have prospective students who are coming in from high school who may want to take the opportunity, let them know there is an application for it and they will have to submit that before our deadline, which is May 26th. And if they have any questions, they can also reach out to me. Right now, the math applications are sent out by email to students, and they're also being passed out to the guidance department at those high schools. So the way we can kind of control that to make sure that students here are not receiving that, because it's not a program for current students who are with us. It's for students who are transferring into our. Say it one more time. Yeah, so the question was if the different campuses can actually get a copy of the applications to disseminate out to the different areas. And we did do that before a couple semesters, sorry, a couple years ago. And we realized that a lot of students who were applying from the different campuses were students who were already currently enrolled with us. If it is to the understanding that everyone who will be passing out information, kind of disseminating that information, can do so with knowing that these are students who are graduating high school seniors who are willing to come in for the summer term and start for the summer term and not for the fall, then yes. But typically, I rather just have the students reach out to me so I can have that communication. Yes. Yes. Correct. So I'm not too sure if we'll have too many students in the orientation who will be coming for the summer B term. Correct. So the reason why it's set this way is because most of the students don't really receive their high school transcript until much later in the summer term, right before this class would actually begin. So it wouldn't really benefit to have, flyers sent out around campuses to tell students about, hey, come join the Summer Math Academy, blah, blah, blah. We're really targeting students like right now since January to let them know that, hey, you're going to be graduating in May or June. Take a look at this opportunity that might be available to you if you come to Seminole County schools or Seminole State College as well. Correct. Yes. So the question was, will all the students who are in the essentially Seminole County schools will be receiving this? Yes. So all students have been reached out. I've been reaching out to the guidance departments at all Seminole County public schools to let them know that this is an opportunity available to them. And then also students who came to a decision day, we also did a tabling event for that, for them to get information from there too as well. But yeah, we're trying different ways to get the information out there. We also have flyers, and I can provide flyers to the different campuses so they can actually see that. But I will hold on to the applications because I want to make sure I'm giving it to the right individuals. But yeah, if you have any students who come across who are interested in coming to Seminole State and they're like, hey, I actually want to start early in the summer, I'll probably just want to take one class. This would be perfect for that student. Yes. Good question. Yes.
So I'm actually piloting. Sorry, what? Okay, yeah. So I'm actually piloting a new program that we're going to start for fall and spring to kind of try and target the students that have left college level math till the end, and that's all they have left. So I'm really going to target. For the first time, I want to target just 30 students to see how it goes, and see if we can get those students to complete their degrees. So same sort of deal, get tutors in the class with them, a lot of extra help to try, and then do it as an A session or a B session term to try and get them in, keep them there every day and get them through it. So if you come across any students that you see that fit that criteria, feel free to reach out to me. It is something I'm trying to pilot for the fall. So keep that in mind.
Yes, so that was our next thing that we were going to talk about, so that's even perfect. The other, I kind of want to let you know the other things that we do too, so we don't take up too much of your time today. So those are great things about the math department that we're trying to do. catch them on the front end and also catch them on the back end as well, because we know that is our high area, subject area that most students are trying to neglect as best as possible. And we know that not every student is going to need 2 different math classes, because we have AS degree seeking students as well as certificate degree, but for the most part, everyone needs a math class for the general population. Additionally, what we are tasked with is tracking and processing intent to graduate forms, and we also have specific individuals on our staff who correct and review late submissions for intent to graduate forms from all campuses. And yes, actually, Friday at noon is our deadline, so please make sure you know about that. Additionally, we coordinate with University of Central Florida to process what we call reverse transfer students. And those are individuals who may have left and transferred from Seminole State and had a good amount of credit hours completed with us and only maybe needed a couple more to complete an actual degree. They may have already started taking those classes that are needed for the degree here with us at UCF as it is. So we do a process with partnership with UCF called reverse transfer, where these students are able to earn their degree with us still while going through the procedure of getting their transcripts back to us for evaluation. So that's something that we track probably every semester towards the beginning, just because we know that students are kind of going through that whole route process. Another piece that we do is hosting open lab registrations. Again, that is something that we have primarily done on this campus because we can control it for the most part, but we do know that that's something that happens at each of the other campuses as well that you all manage. But we do our part here to kind of combat how many students that we do get coming through those doors. So when it comes to registration, looking at to-do list items, their holds, to review that with them, to also talk about financial aid. We kind of go through a whole quick session with those students up in here in the computer lab system. And lastly, we're always trying to identify and request funding for students for federal aid dollars, whether that be Pell Grant assistance or scholarship assistance. So if you do have students that you may come across that may be less of a situation that may not require destination graduation, but more so that they're struggling to get one more class and pay for that or cover that tuition, or they pay for their tuition but they don't have enough money for books, please send them my way, or Mark, or my partner Carly as well. We're always here to try to make sure we get as many students as possible through the pipeline to get to the next step. And so this is for internal use only. I'll make sure I say that one more time. Internal use only. We will have a team email for the 3 of us. So if you want to make sure the message gets clearly sent there for funding requests or anything familiar to that, it will be RC Team, R as in row, C as in cat, Team, T-E-A-M. What? R as in retention. Well, whatever. I go with easy words. At seminolestate.edu. So RC Team at seminolestate.edu. We will use that email internally amongst colleagues here, where that can be used for the funding requests that you may have for a specific student, humanities course sub updates or forms that you want to submit, late ITGs, all those. We don't want those to get lost. Yeah, please do, because that means at least someone would have touched it. If you have compliments to our staff, if you have suggestions, if you have questions and you don't know between Mark, Carly, or myself who to ask, one of us. We don't want that inbox to be spammed, of course. you can always ask us individually. But we at least want to have that as a collective email inbox for any group setting that we have, discuss or get important documents and forms to us and everything like that. So I am going to relinquish the mic to, okay, well, first, any questions and answers for this part, and then I'll relinquish to Mark over here.
Okay, reverse transfer students. They're earning a degree with us while they are attending UCF. So that might be like one of those students who go over for chemical technology AS degree. No. Okay, so could you explain that to
So
me?
chemical technology is not part of reverse transfer. This is only for AA students. So students that left Seminole State without earning the AA degree, then went to UCF and completed the rest of the requirements.
The German.
So we partner with UCF. We get a list from UCF. So they identify these students and send them to us. And then all we do is just process them for graduation. And we have a process that's in place to do that.
Okay, so it's just those with the AA degree. They were here for a little bit, and then they were accepted
Right.
to UCF.
And the
then we
students
could
have to
complete the-
opt in. So UCF contacts them. They opt in. And then UCF sends us the list of the students that opted in. And then we process them.
Okay.
So it's really hands off on our end mostly.
Is that at any state college they started?
So
then they
any
would get their
school,
AA?
any school that they have direct connect with, they do this with.
Okay, so we're not getting all the other schools, so they're
No.
going back to their.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they have their own process with, any other school that they have a direct connect with. They send those students to them. All right, so my turn. All right. So also wanted to mention a couple other things. So we're always trying to innovate new ways to complete and retain students. So one of the new things that we're doing this semester, and we're just trying it out for the first time, we're going into the classrooms and kind of doing our own little orientation presentation for them, just basically the end of the FTIC orientation, showing them how to register for classes. And then we're preparing half sheets to give to all the students to kind of give them our recommendations of the classes that they should take. And then we're going to just go around answering questions, helping them register for their classes and whatnot. So it's just a new initiative that we're taking to kind of try and boost enrollment for the summer. And we're it's not an orientation. And we did reach out to professors on all campuses, so we are going to be going out to Altamont and Oviedo as well to do these. So just a pilot run this semester. Hopefully it goes well. It could be something that we're doing all the time, though. And to go along with that, we're always taking suggestions for innovations on things to do. So if you want to send those suggestions to the RC team at seminolestate.edu, we're happy to take those all the time. So also now I wanted to kind of talk about performance funding, or what it is now, kind of where it was, what it is now. So basically it started out as a way to award performance-based incentives to Florida college system institutions using 4 metrics. So that would be retention, completion, completer wages, and job placement and continuing ed. So our part of it is the retention and completion, and so they awarded additional funding to institutions based off a gold, silver, or purple designation, and so we did get gold the last two times that they did it, but currently performance funding is on hold, so it's not been taken out of law, but the legislature has decided to just not recognize it at the moment while they're still trying to decide what's going to go on with performance funding in the future. So as it is right now, what we're doing is we're just holding the line, doing it exactly how we were until we get instruction from the state as to how they want to continue on. So that's basically where we're at with the performance funding model. It's kind of a wait and see at this point. So that kind of ends our presentation, unless Carly wants to add anything.
I have one more thing.
Okay. So are we going to?
Okay. One more piece.
What's one more piece?
Just because you haven't had enough. One additional piece, because I know this kind of affects a lot of the communication that we sent out previously through our advising refresh, but just all of you know about this new program. The bachelor's department came up with a more of an assimilation program called the Rising Raiders. If you know about it already, I'm going to ask you to put that on hold for disseminating the information out right now, because we're still trying to tie up some loose ends on that particular program and how we get through to the students who are going through it right now. If you are not familiar with it, to explain, essentially it is a program that we have created. Actually, I'm not really a part of that creation, but I am a part of the facilitation. It is a program that was created for students who may be in their last semester of their associate's degree, or have a good number of credit hours that are above 60 hours that they've accumulated, but they would also want to take some bachelor's level coursework into the new bachelor's program that they're planning to transfer into at Seminole State. At present time, students cannot take associate level credit courses along with baccalaureate courses, because it kind of affects the system in multiple ways in terms of financial aid and other processing areas between institutional research and every area beyond that. We are still piloting it and kind of troubleshooting some issues and errors within that program. If you have students who may be eligible based on the established criteria, which I can also send out to anyone who wants to know more about the application as well, they can fill out the application and they have to submit their intent to graduate with me. Okay, that's actually on the form. So they cannot initiate anything until they have completed the process and have submitted that documentation to me. So that'll be their application and also their intent to graduate form. Okay, but this is meant for anyone who is graduating their last semester or so, and they would like to take baccalaureate or upper level coursework as well with that. Okay, it may be going back into full-fledged movement in fall semester for fall 2020, but that has not been declared just yet. Okay, we have some guinea pigs, for lack of a better term, who are going through it right now, where we're trying to see how that works out in reporting systems and whatnot. But beyond that, I think it's a good opportunity. I think it has a good, work for our department as well, who is going to try to institute it. But I think it's a great opportunity overall for our students to kind of funnel through an easier path or system from an associate's to going out to a bachelor's degree in their chosen career field. But beyond that, if you have any questions, of course, you can email me, Marcus Williams. And if there's anything retention and completion related, you can email our team. Okay? And I'm going to pass it over to my other partner, Ms. Carly Walkover.
Where do I stand? Am I good? Over here, at the podium. Hi, guys. So I am, if you haven't heard, I am the new assigned advisor for the chemical technology, or if you got the handout, what is now going to be called the STEM AS degree, starting in fall 2020. I know we fancied it up. So in addition to the name change, we also have several curriculum changes to that program. Some enhancements that I think will be beneficial to a lot more students. So previously, and we'll send this out and disseminate this information, all interaction handouts and presentations will be collected Notes will be collected and disseminated to all counselors, advisors, specialists throughout all campuses after the event is concluded. So don't worry, you will get everything that you've seen. I took the notes yesterday, so, hopefully they're complete. So you will now see that there is a third specialization for the new STEM AS, new and improved. So before it was chemical biological as one specialization, engineering as a second, and now we have a pharmacy specialization, which was the predominantly excluded group from students trying to do what the chemical technology AS degree does, which is allow students to complete any additional prerequisites outside of those AA requirements while still using financial aid before they leave this institution. And before, pharmacy students weren't able to do that because the Chemtech AS did not include A&P 1 and 2. But now, Dr. Ferguson, in her glory, has figured out a way to include it. So you'll see that in the chemical biological specialization, that would include biology, biomedical sciences, biotechnology, chemistry, forensic science, nutritional science. All of those majors would do the chem bio specialization, where the required courses would be organic 1 and 2, and either the physics 1 and 2 sequence or the physics with calc sequence. Now for engineering, basically any engineering student would be under the engineering specialization. Those required courses would be Intro to Engineering, Concepts and Methods, Probability and Statistics for Engineers, Differential Equations, and Physics with Calc 1 and 2. Now the new pharmacy specialization would allow students to complete their pharmacy prerequisites, which include the A&P sequence and the organic chemistry sequence. Dr. Ferguson also, in her infinite wisdom, included a whole bunch of other electives in the elective space to allow students to complete the STEM certificate and the advanced STEM certificate. So when you get this new and improved handout, and it'll be in the new ed plans for 2020 as well, you'll see that the opportunities for filling those 21 credits of electives has significantly expanded. Basically, there aren't many students that would not be able to complete the Chemtech AS degree if they are in one of those STEM majors. So pretty awesome improvements to this degree. It's going to encompass a lot more students. We also want to make sure that you're being diligent with these students. When you're looking at this list, now that this list does include a lot more opportunities for students and majors, we still want to make sure that you're paying very close attention. I mean, computer science is not one of the majors. I see a lot of students get put into Chemtech AS that are computer science majors. That is still not one of the majors that they can complete the Chemtech AS while, before they leave. That's the goal, is don't put them in the chemical technology AS degree if they aren't able to complete it before they leave us. We don't want them just to get financial aid to take a few extra classes. We want them to also complete this degree. We're being measured on it. So I'm working really hard to go through the list of students that is currently active in this program and making sure they're in where they need to be. They're in the right space and they are going to complete this degree. Otherwise, they really do need to be non-degree seeking or post-associate pre-baccalaureate non-degree seeking. So make sure, and if you have questions about whether or not a student is a right fit for the STEM or chemical technology AS, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can even use that cool RC team email address to get to me if you want to, but my name is Carly Walkover. So without further ado, I don't have any more updates on Chemtech. Any questions about the new STEM AS / chemical technology AS? No? Good. Who am I handing it over to? Jatem? Maritza. And Ellen. Hi, Ellen. What a surprise.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Ellen Orr, and I'm the program manager for the Administrative Office Management Program in the Business Department. And I apologize for my late arrival. There was a communications mix-up, and I wasn't told to be here, so I wanted to slip in and just tell you a few things. So our program, we have certificates, and we have an AS degree, and we typically we get a lot of older students as well as some young ones as well. But we help students that want to get to work in an office environment and maybe aren't really sure how to get started. We have a lot of students that are coming back to school. Maybe they've been working and want to make a career change, or they just need to update their computer skills, their communication skills, their professionalism. We work on all of that. So we do have an excellent job placement rate. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So we can definitely get students jobs. And entry with very little experience, the pay range is anywhere from 12 or 13 up to $20 an hour, part-time, full-time, lots of flexibility as far as that goes. So we do a lot of work with our students, making sure that they are able to get their foot in the door somewhere. For some of the skills that we teach are all the Microsoft Office, Excel skills. We do, in my program, we have the Office Accounting 1 and 2. The Office Accounting 2 is a QuickBooks class. If they don't have to be an accounting major, but they can get some basic skills that can make them more flexible and give them, help them earn more money. Sorry, I wasn't really prepared, and I don't have a handout today, so I'll apologize for that. And then we work very closely. The Administrative Office Management program works very closely with the accounting AS degree and accounting programs, and our classes feed into theirs, our Office Accounting 1 and 2. So a lot of the placement that we do is either a cross between accounting and office or some kind of combination. And just a real quick, and I'll speak just for Terry Walsh since she can't be here, and it's the same. We have a great rate of success rate with placement, and decent wages, I think, for a starting out position. So I was speaking with a student today, this morning in class, and I thought it was a great story. She was taking an Accounting 1 class, and she actually had work experience. She said, I've been working and using QuickBooks at my office, but I sort of just got thrown into it, and that is a very common scenario. Someone says, oh, just you try that, but she had no idea what she was doing, so she decided to come back and take some classes, and she's so excited because she now understands debits and credits and how to do a general journal entry and how the computer and the things that she's doing, and her boss is super excited for her, and she said, I was able to show my boss this. I told her how great you are and how much I'm learning, and I sketched out the accounting equation and demonstrated what you showed me, and she said how helpful that was. So it was really a nice story to hear. But I do think that we have a lot of value to add to students, whether they're brand new or whether they're coming, working and just trying to get a promotion. The student that's in my class said, now that I understand these things, I used to just print out the reports and give them to them, but I didn't know what they meant. Now I know what they mean. And I said, good, now you'll be able to add some valuable feedback, and you're going to start noticing when something's doesn't look quite right or something that they need to investigate, and that'll make you more valuable, and you'll be able to get a higher paying job. So that was a good story, and it was kind of a nice moment. So both the accounting and the office, there are lots of jobs. People need the support, and oftentimes students just need to polish up their skills. And so even though this student that I had in class this morning was starting out with it just as a certificate, she's like, and I'll just come back for a couple of classes, but she's actually finding that it's helping her so much, and she's excited about learning that she's going to continue on. We do have certificates that are just 12 credits in both accounting and office management. So a student can come and take a semester, 2 semesters, finish 4 classes, and it can help them get their foot in the door somewhere. And then they can take 2 more classes and get another certificate. That's 27 credits. And then at that point, or 18 credits and then 27. So we kind of have a nice built-in pathway along the way. They can add the certificates to their resumes and work their way up into the better jobs as they go along. So we do a great job getting them in the door and then helping them move up. And then, so that's kind of my thing. Okay. Any questions? Maritza, do you want to? She may have some things to add. Maritza is our career program advisor, and she may speak for another program that also wasn't able to be here yet for legal studies.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. This is Maritza Mendez. I'm a career program advisor for the Legal Studies, Administrative Office Management, which Ellen just spoke of, as well as accounting in AS. And Nana spoke about early childhood yesterday. But I am a career program advisor for several programs. But today I'm going to talk about our Legal Studies program, which is 64 credits. It's ABA approved. And individuals who pursue this degree can actually also earn a real estate paralegal certificate with the 9 credits. The real estate paralegal certificate is a 12-credit program. It does include an internship as well. In the AS and Legal Studies program, there is a co-op, and our Career Development Center works closely with our students as well as the program manager, Julie Groot, with ensuring that these students are placed in an approved firm to ensure that they get their hours done and completed so that way they meet the ABA requirements for our AS and Legal Studies program. Students can finish this degree in 2 years if they go full-time. We encourage our students to do that. And if they can't, they can finish in part-time. We encourage everyone who has questions about, or, if you have questions about the program, definitely reach out to me as the career program advisor. If you have students who are on the fence between the AS and the AA, because we do also offer it, an AA in it. But most students who pursue this are not really necessarily looking to become lawyers. They're looking kind of like for a career shift, work inside a firm or the legal department at any organization. They don't necessarily have to be paralegals. They can actually pursue a career in a legal department, just like we have a legal department here at Seminole State. One of my students is doing an internship in our legal department, so who knows? But yeah, I just wanted to briefly talk about it and see if you had any questions. All right, well, thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Maritza. We now have Jatem representing the counseling. I think this is on.
Okay. Hi, guys. So my name is Jatem Roland. I am one of the counselors here at Sanford Lake Mary campus. Just want to talk a little bit about what we do, what kind of services we provide, and answer any questions you guys might have. So as I mentioned, like I said, I am one of 4. We have 3 licensed counselors here on this campus. We also have 1 counselor over in Altamont, and we have a counselor over at the Oviedo campus as well. So primarily what we are here for is really to support our students who might be experiencing any type of emotional crisis, or if they're just needing some kind of support. We work with a local agency called Aspire Health Partners. They are a really large agency, or a really large company that works throughout Central Florida, but we work primarily with 2 locations. And so what we do, because there are only 6 of us total and many students, we don't have the opportunity or the ability to do that consistent on-campus counseling with them. So we partner with this agency, and students are able to receive 6 sessions for free with them, and as well as they can also meet with a psychiatrist if they're interested in any kind of medical or medication management rather, and they also do like an intake assessment as well. I do have some brochures with me. If you're interested, I can give you guys some when I'm done and pass those out. So I wanted to touch on a little bit, kind of give you guys some guidance if ever you are experiencing a student who might be in crisis or you think maybe could benefit from our services. If you are on a campus that has a counselor on campus, ultimately the best thing to do is really to walk that student over to us. If you're able to. We know that that's not always possible, whether we're teaching classes or we're in a meeting and we don't really have the time to do that. If it is possible, it is the best thing that we can do just to make sure that we don't lose that student kind of in translation, right? However, if maybe you experience a student and you're like, I don't really know, maybe you don't have the best relationship with them, or you don't want to probe too much, but you do have some concerns, you also are welcome to reach out to any of the counselors. You can reach out to Debbie, and we will definitely reach out to them. Basically, as soon as we receive a referral, we immediately make contact or attempt to make contact with that student. depending on the severity of the issue as well. So if we think that a student might be in imminent danger of hurting themselves or hurting somebody else, then obviously our protocol for finding that student will be a little bit more intense. So we will call them, we will email them, we can sometimes go and visit them in class and pull them out just to make sure that we make contact. But I do want to let everyone know that if you refer a student to us, we do everything in our power that we can to make contact with them and connect them with whatever resources might be available or might be appropriate for them, rather. I also wanted to talk a little bit about the recent increase that we have noticed. So just to kind of give you guys an idea of the numbers, at the end of our 2018 to 2019 academic year, we had about 411 counseling contacts throughout that whole year. And currently our numbers just from June to the end of December, so right before winter break, we were at 457. So we're already higher than we were for the entire year. And I think that is partially because we have a lot more representation. There's a lot more people that know about us. Students are finding out about us a little bit more. So by all means, when you're interacting with students, whether you think they need it or you think they don't, send them over to us, because it's my personal belief, and I'm sure I could probably speak for the other counselors, that it's all of our beliefs that anybody can benefit from counseling. And we really just want to be there to support the students and make sure that they are as healthy as possible. I also wanted to talk about an upcoming skill session that we have. So one of our counselors, Dahlia, is going to be presenting Mental Health 101. This is going to take place on March 25th here at Sanford Lake Mary. It'll be Wednesday, so it's about 2 weeks from now, Wednesday, March 25th from 12:30 to 2. It will be in J100, and it's also going to be live streamed for everybody to watch. They did this last year, and it was really, really I guess in the fall, which was last year, and it was really successful. She's going to review kind of basic skills of like how you can support somebody who might be going through a mental health crisis, and maybe help to make you feel a little bit more comfortable, because sometimes if you're not trained in that, it can be scary. I know a lot of times students will start crying and people are like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to talk to them. So if ever that's kind of a struggle that you might have or a concern that you might have, this could be very beneficial. She's also going to be partnering with the clinical manager of the location that we work with for Aspire. So they'll also be available and can answer questions as well. And again, that'll be March 25th, 12:30 to 2 here in J100. And there was one other thing, and I cannot remember what I was going to say. For anybody who may not be on Sanford Lake Mary, Altamont, or Oviedo, so my Heathrow people, if ever you have a student with you that you think could benefit from talking to a counselor, similarly to having that student be walked over to us, you also are very welcome to go ahead and give us a call. We would ask that you could give us a call if you can have them in your office with you, just so that we can really ensure that they are safe. Student safety is our number one priority. We really want to make sure that our students are okay and they're healthy, and they're not at risk of hurting themselves or hurting anybody else. So the best thing to do would be to just call us directly. We can check in with them if possible. Sometimes that may not always be appropriate. They may just express, hey, I might be interested in counseling. And by all means, you can go ahead and send that information to us. You'll want to send us like their name, their student ID, and maybe a brief maybe summary of what information you have that could be helpful. And just know that as soon as we get that, we will reach out to them. Okay? Any questions? No? Okay, perfect. And I do have some pamphlets, so I can hand them out if you're interested. I do have one more thing, actually. Sorry, one more thing. When we are closed, so when our offices are closed at the end of our day, or if we're closed for a break or anything like that, we do have a crisis hotline that is available for students if they feel like they need to talk to somebody and it's 2 in the morning and we're not here. We do have a line that they can call. It's in the pamphlets, but I will tell you what it is now as well. So the number is 407-416-9976. And they can call that number basically anytime our offices are closed and have somebody there immediately to support them. The people who answer this call are also part of Aspire, so they're a part of that partnership that we have. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew about that too. Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I don't have to use this thing. My name is Catherine Brown. I am the Direct Connect Coordinator here at Sanford Lake Mary for Direct Connect to UCF. So I'm just going to go over briefly what our program entails, how we can collaborate together for the benefit of our students on this campus. First of all, our office is located over in our building, I was going to say 11, I'm sorry. I'm from the West Campus of Valencia. But it's over by in the partnership building, over by the library. You know where the stairs are? Well, as soon as you get ready to come up the stairs, that's us, okay? Students can make an appointment, but they don't have to. We take walk-ins, all right? In case you aren't aware of what our program is, we have a partnership with these 6 schools, okay? So that's Central Florida, Daytona State, Lake Sumter, Valencia, Eastern Florida, and of course, Seminole. Any of our students who graduate with an AA from any of these institutions currently are guaranteed admission to UCF. Currently. That could change. The stipulations around that could change. So it's very important that we keep a good line of communication, which is why I've given you my card. And also on the back of the pamphlet are all of our contact informations. It's super important that students come see us as soon as possible, preferably within their first year here. Because what we want to do is we want to align the courses they're taking here with what they're going to need to get their bachelor's degree at UCF. A lot of students might not really understand the importance of it, and the way that I explain it is, here you might be working on a general AA. So in order to get a general AA, what are the 2 maths that you need? Anyone? It depends. So technically you can get away with taking college algebra and maybe, I don't know, give me another one. Exactly, okay? But if you know that you want to be a doctor or an engineer, you're going to have a much higher level of math, statistics, or something of that nature. So if they come see you and they're here, okay, the math you're in is good, and then they graduate and they come see me and I'm like, oh no, you didn't take the required stuff, that's where we have a little bit of issue. So that's why we're here on this campus, so we can make sure that we're both giving the same information, because the qualifications to get an AA are different from to get a bachelor's. And if they already know, then they need to be talking to both of us at the same time, okay? So If they do everything correctly, currently, if they do their 2 English, that's that Comp 1 and Comp 2, they have their foreign language done, and they take their 2 Gordon Rule math, they could actually get accepted to UCF up to a year in advance. A lot of them don't know that. We get a lot of students that come in, hey, this is my last semester, I'm graduating, when do I start UCF? That guarantee that's here, a lot of them think that's automatic. Nothing in life is automatic. You still have to apply, you still have to take all the prerequisites, you still have to do your intent to graduate. We push that because I know that y'all send people over to us all the time, but we really push that because I've had a couple of students that had to wait a whole nother semester because they didn't do that. So we try to echo your important points as well. If you see, we have application deadlines here. If they're wanting to come to us in the spring, and these are fixed, generally speaking. If they want to come to us in the fall, they have to have their applications in by May 1st. July 1st for transfers. Spring is November 1st, and summer is March 1st for transfers. Now, another reason why it's super important for them to come see us instead of just reading the pamphlet is because say they want to be a nurse and they want to do the concurrent program. There's actually 4 different applications they have to do with all kinds of different deadlines. And if they've waited until the last minute to come see us, I can't do anything about those deadlines. So it's super important to push them to come see us as soon as possible, okay? And they can come see us as many times as they want. I don't care. Email me in the middle of the night if something comes up, that's fine. I'd rather you have all the information than, miss a deadline or something of that nature. So Direct Connect really is just an agreement that we have saying that you can come to UCF if you do A, B, C, or D, okay? So a lot of people think because they sign up for Direct Connect that they have signed up for UCF. That's 2 totally different things. Direct Connect, signing up for that means that I can bother you. I can email you, I can call you, I can invite you to stuff, I can let you know all the skill shops that we offer. We are supposed to have a transfer fair next week on March 18th, where we have all the colleges come out, like the College of Nursing, College of Business, and everything, and they're on the little breezeway, and they're just there to give information and talk to the students. Now, with everything happening, I'm not sure yet. I haven't received confirmation that's still going to go forth. So we're just going to postpone that probably. But we do it every semester, okay? And so we try to get that out to all the students. Other than that, it's a very cut and dry program, but it's all about communication and knowing the information. They do have to apply. They do need to come see us. Dual enrollment students, we're in a lot of those. The stipulation when it comes to dual enrollment students, in order to be considered Direct Connect traditional, you have to have done 12 credit hours here prior to coming to UCF. So that means after they graduate from high school, they still have to do 12 credit hours here. If they graduate from high school already with their AA, they're not traditional Direct Connect, okay? They can still be guaranteed admission to UCF, but they will be considered first-time in college students, which is handled differently. And then they're not guaranteed the exact semester that they apply for, okay? So like if they apply for fall, which everybody knows that's like the crazy busy semester, they might not really get, they might say, hey, we've accepted you, but you can't come until spring. Does that make sense? Okay. So, I went through that kind of quickly. Do we have any questions or concerns, anyone? No? Yes. Yes, ma'am. So, we update our programs and everything usually in May, okay? UCF is undergoing some changes. We are a very large institution, so we might have to scale back on some things. So there might be changes in the future. I'm not privy to all of that information. As soon as I get it, I will communicate it on. That's why it's super important that they come see us early to make sure they have done everything to ensure, that they get in, everything on the checklist. Well, what I've been telling students, because nothing is constant except change. Until you get that letter in the mail saying, welcome, you've been accepted to UCF, there are no guarantees. Even in your particular program. For example, if you already know you want to be I had students, it was about a year ago, that wanted to be psychology students. Well, in May, the psychology department made changes. You're subject to any change until you get accepted. They decided all of a sudden that high school foreign language was not going to get it. You had to have college level foreign language. So anybody who wasn't accepted up to that point, now they have to get that college level, foreign language. So it's the same type of situation here. Until you've actually been accepted, and you're in, and it's just like the catalog. You understand what I'm saying? Like when they get accepted here, they're in for that catalog year. It's that same type of situation. This is not a catalog. This is just a flyer. Mm-hmm. So with anything, the guarantee is that you meet certain requirements. It doesn't say that we won't eventually change some of those requirements. It might just be modified just a little bit. Like I said, I don't know. I haven't been privy to all the information. What I'm saying is it's super important right now with all the changes going on. Even without the changes, honestly, they still need to come see us early, because we get we're getting ready to do, over the summer, we do all of our advising updates, just like you guys are doing. And so we get more information. And so the more information we get, we'll pass it on to them, like appropriate classes they should take and, things of that nature. So they just have to keep in good communication with us. If they already know, which, they should be doing anyways. If I know that when I graduate from Seminole State, I want to go off to FAMU, I shouldn't wait until the last minute to see what FAMU is offering. I should already be talking to them. Anything else? Awesome. Well, you have my information. Email is the best way to get in touch with me. Email me anything, everything. If you're anything like me, you'll wake up in the middle of the night, and that's when you have all your most brilliant questions and ideas. You can email me at that time, too. It's fine. All right? Thank you so much for your time.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Nancy Gasper. I'm the Dean of Nursing, and I'm here to talk with you about just a few changes, not many for this year. We have 3 nursing programs. I'll start with the RN to BSN program. So you may not see many students for this, but I wanted to give you a heads up that they're doing an ad campaign for our program starting in April. You may see some changes on our website, which are awesome. So if you go there, you'll see some of our RN to BSN students. But we're pushing to promote enrollments in the program. We've been going for 2 years now successfully, but we would like to see it grow a little bit. And in case you don't know what that program is, it's a completion program for those employees or those just finished AA students who are now looking to go on with their RN, their registered nurse license, to complete and get a bachelor's of science in nursing. Our associate degree program has 2 cohorts. I don't know if you're all aware that about a year and a half ago we started a part-time evening weekend program. We are relooking at that program. It has been successful up to a point. There are many things that we took from feedback from students and faculty to hopefully improve our program a little bit. What we have relooked at and haven't quite finalized yet is the potential for making the programs, instead of a day and an evening program, just perhaps having a full-time and part-time program. Many students who have talked to our counselors and advisors have said, I really just need to slow down my pace. I have a family, I have a part-time job. It will unfortunately not always be offered in the evening. And what our goal is to take those 50 students that we typically admit in the fall semester only to begin the program and admit a third of them each semester, so we can continue to take admissions each semester for that part-time track. What happens now with our evening weekend program is being admitted once a year. If they step out of a course for any reason, withdraw or unsuccessful performance, they end up having to wait a whole year to catch up to their next course that's being offered. So in this way, if they step out, they can step right back in. We would integrate our part-time students into the same cohort as our now full-time students. So we would eliminate the labels full-time or day and evening weekend and just go with the labels of full-time program, part-time program. The part-time program, we would hope to be able to offer their clinical experiences on the weekends only, so they can still maintain their weekday obligations if they need to. Our full-time program went recently, last year ago fall, to a 5-semester program, and as we're watching the numbers come in for completion and graduation, we're seeing some positives with that. So we're glad that we extended it from a 4-semester program to a 5-semester program. Some of the courses are very rigorous, and by separating them into separate semesters, we're able to see students much more successful. I think that's all. Does anybody have questions? We'll let you know about the part-time, full-time changes as they're made. We're having some faculty meetings, and we've already checked with our advisors, our community partners, to make sure that everybody's on board, but it will occur before the May application cycle starts, so that it will start in the fall if we're going to go forward with this. But I'll keep you posted. I just wanted to give you a heads up on that. Okay, thank you so much. Thanks for having me here today.
Okay, we are going to go ahead and take a short break. When we return, Krista Price will be here representing Disability Support Services.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks again for wanting to kind of collaborate and work well as we continue to provide the best support and services to our students and our staff and faculty. I'm Krista. I'm the Assistant Director of Disability Support Services. Hello to you and our campus communities out there at Altamont, Oviedo, and Heathrow, maybe, if you're listening in. Just wanted to kind of cover some points. One of the things that we pride ourselves in disability support services is that we really work hard to provide the support services that students need as far as accommodations. But more importantly, we actually work just as hard at providing those same resources and support to those faculty and staff that provide those services to students. And so that's an important piece for us. And so the advocacy and partnership is very important to us, which is why I'm glad you invited me out today. We consider you champions for DSS, if you would, right? So we have a few things that we have going on. Right now, with the current students, we have actually coming up what we have primarily course substitutions. We have quite a few students right now that have requested course substitutions, and so we know you work closely with students providing course substitutions in an advising component. And so we wanted to kind of review that process, what it is that we would do, and how we actually work with you all and depend on you in a lot of ways to make sure that those resources are being provided to students so that we can all better serve our students. And so one of the things is that as far as it relates to our process, students will come to us and they'll, excuse me, students will come in our office and they'll request a petition for the course sub. And so we want to make sure that we identify, for example, if they were requesting for a math disability, math course sub. And so students will request for the math course sub, and we'll do our vetting to determine whether or not, number one, if there's a disability, and secondly, whether or not their program requires math as it relates to that core curriculum. And so oftentimes students have already gone with you, you've audited, provided a degree audit of sorts, and if not, we always refer them back to you. Okay, and so that's something that has to be a part of that as well. And so we never have students come to us and that's not a part of that process. Okay, sometimes, like I said, we have relationships with many of you, and so we'll call you up and we'll verify that. We always can go into the 3 C's and see whether or not that's happening. If it's not as part of that process, we ask students to return to their advisors to get that degree audit. Okay, that's a very important part. And so once we determine that they do in fact have a math disability and that the current program doesn't have the math requirements, then we can proceed with the process. And so they'll complete the packet, which includes a personal statement, the actual petition form and such. And so my question then to you is what would your process be as it relates to having this conversation with students? How do you articulate needs? Are there students that come to you with challenges, and what those challenges would be, and how can you relay them or refer those individual students to us? Because sometimes that conversation is not always easy if they don't self-disclose. And so if you can get them to self-disclose, we can maybe have that conversation about what kinds of things you can talk about or how you can address that to help them self-disclose. I think that's usually the easiest way to be able to approach that. And so if you don't mind kind of sharing a little bit what your conversations are with students when you recognize there are challenges, for example, or when you recognize based on transcript, maybe they're not doing as well as you would hope or they had hoped. Any thoughts on that? Because that's an important piece for us as we continue to collaborate so that we're all on the same page. And so we don't have to have the conversation. Now, I was just curious just as to if there were things on the forefront of your mind that you had, and maybe I could address those now too as well. But those are some important things. And so the legacy of effective collaboration we have is strong, and so feel free to call me, that kind of thing. It's not a concern, but I wanted to use this as an opportunity since we had this open forum to be able to do that. But just something else to keep in mind that we do have a course substitution process in place. And so that's a general approach in how we go about doing that. Our actual meeting is actually going to be is it Thursday the 19th? I believe the 19th. It is Thursday, next week Thursday. And so we're finalizing packets now and getting those together, making sure they're ready to be vetted and we can meet with them and make some determinations. So we're at that point now. So additionally, what we have going on in DSS. We also have a wellness initiative. Many of you have probably seen a lot of the signs, living a wellness life out. And really, the living a wellness life really came about because we recognize that mental health is a priority, or at least it should be for every individual. And we believe in disability support services that we're not just disability support, that we are also wellness support. And so every individual that comes to our office does not necessarily receive accommodations. Excuse me, I'm draining today, I apologize. It's not easy. But we recognize that every student that comes to our office does not receive accommodations, but every student can receive resources. Every student can receive information and gain knowledge in order to be their best self. And so the mental health component is a big part of that, because we're seeing such an influx of students coming in with a lot of other challenges, not specifically related to academics. And so the focus with the wellness program is to ensure that students are whole beings, and we're addressing the whole student and not just components or parts and bits and pieces of. And so we have quite a few different initiatives and things going on. And so once every month, we actually have a wellness event where we invite vendors out. We have holistic vendors that come that focus on essential oils and their overall relation to well-being. We have yoga enthusiasts who come out, who teach us about our physical well-being, those kind of things. We also have individuals who come out with coaching, who monitor their progress through coaching and training and building individuals up emotionally, those kinds of things. So it's just a very, very holistic, holistic as well as holistic approach to making sure that our students, that the students that we see, the students that we serve, those students that kind of come into contact with us actually have additional resources and other outlets that don't necessarily tied directly to academic accommodations. And so that's a big part of what we're doing now in our initiatives here. We also have our Neurooptimal, which is our brain training system. And so you probably heard a lot about that as well. That brain training system we're currently scheduling for. We actually have a staff system as well as student staff operating systems, and we're actually developing a new one we're getting funding for, and pretty much approved, so we'll have one at Oviedo campus as well. Right. Next Tuesday, we actually have a mid-semester relaxation and meditation for our employees and staff. Much like you pour into serving our students and our students, we want to make sure that we pour into you and making sure that you're your best selves as we continue to serve students. And so that's an event, actually, is part of our wellness piece that we're inviting all of our staff to as well. So you may have gotten invitations through your departments regarding that. And April, which is next month, actually starts our Autism Awareness Month. Okay, so there's activities that will be going on around campus related to autism awareness. And then October is actually Disability Awareness Month. And so as part of that, we also have events and disability-related activities, as well as a technology fair where we invite a lot of important people out that are specifically related to disability services and providing those resources to individual students. So that's another thing that we also do. Now, I don't know, you probably heard there's probably a lot of hubbub going on about this thing called coronavirus. And so in the event that you have, we've gotten quite a few calls, quite a few emails, whether it be from parents or students of parents, or parents of students, regarding a disability, okay? While the coronavirus is certainly a health condition, it is not a valid accommodation request. And so even though we have individual students who have a documented disability that may be related to an autoimmune deficiency, being exposed to coronavirus, or the fact that an individual could potentially be exposed to it, does not necessitate an accommodation. And so what we have been doing and what we have shared with our department and what we've been sharing with our students and parents who are calling in those kinds of concerns are specifically those emails and messages that we're getting from our president in the email that was sent out to all of us, and direct them to the Florida Department of Health. Okay, their website link, we can connect it through the DOH or Department of Education, and then the link that goes directly to the Florida Department of Health. It's very incomprehensive. It speaks to how many cases actually we have currently in Florida, in addition to by county. Okay, and so we know that we don't currently have any cases or positive cases in Seminole County, nor do we have any in Orange County. And so that was the latest as of what? You have a new case? Okay, all right. So that is a website, though, that will keep us connected because it is a live, active account. And so right before I came in here, yeah. So continue to check that, continue to make sure that you remain updated on that information, because that is the information that we share with our students and with our parents who have those kinds of concerns. So that is, we're not coming up with information and making up information. We go directly to the source, and that's the current statistics. Those are the most up-to-date statistics, and that's what we're currently using. Okay, so I encourage you to do the same as well. And what we typically, like I say, even if you feel comfortable with cutting and pasting that information, that way it's not misinterpreted or it's not misstated incorrectly as well. Okay. All right. All right. Any questions for me? Well, thank you again for having me. It's always wonderful seeing your faces, and thank you again. Okay. Thank you. Nice to see you too. Bye.
Hate being on camera. All right. Good afternoon. Hope everyone's well today. My name is Aaron Hanlon. I don't think I know most of you, maybe by name on email, but I'm from the Grindle Honors Institute. I'm director of the program. So I'm just going to share a little bit of information. Is anybody new over here? You all been here? No? Okay. How many of you know about the honors program? Everybody? Good? Cool. So we have a few updates, but not many. Some of the changes came this year. I'll just touch on those a bit. But we do have a significant change for next year. So again, we provide academic and personal growth opportunities for students. There are a number of benefits that the students do receive, such as earlier registration privileges. We still do award scholarships at $50 per honors credit. They get access to our new facility over in the L building on the second floor. So if you haven't been by to check it out, please do come check it out. We have a great space for our students. They do still get free printing over in the Honors Center. We have some unique courses only available to our students. We have the ability to earn the honors diploma and certificate, and those requirements did change this year for students who entered this year, and I'll talk about those in a minute. We have the academic travel opportunities. Unfortunately, I had to pull the plug on Salzburg today for this summer. I was very upset about that. We do have transfer assistance. We have the Burnett Honors College pathway. We do have another transfer partnership now, though, that I'll talk about as well. So as far as the academics, I think everybody knows about one of our signature courses, the History Meets Science course in the summer. And if you were here last summer, we put Tim Werner in the retention pond and got in trouble with security. So that was a fun event. We do have the Science Behind the Theme Parks course, but we constantly have faculty who are working on new and innovative courses for the program. As far as travel opportunities, we do still have the Salzburg seminar. Hopefully we'll get to send students next year. But next year we will also be running, again, the Asian Humanities course, which will send students to Japan for approximately 2 weeks. I did spend 2 weeks this last summer in Japan with students, which was a great experience. We do send students to academic conferences, so I took about 10 students to the Florida Collegiate Honors Conference about a month ago down in Jupiter, and we send students to present their research, which is a great opportunity to get them used to that academic setting of presenting, and it's a very low-key conference. But we have some other conferences students have gone to with faculty members. Sometimes we send students to Southern Region Honors Conference. It really just kind of depends. If you haven't seen the new Honors Center, I put some pictures up there for you of the space, and students are certainly using it and enjoying it. And one of my alums came in the other day and was like, "What? This isn't the dungeon." He's like, "This is all wrong." So we are very happy to be over there now. As far as the graduation distinction, we do still have the diploma and the certificate program. Now, I don't know If you're aware of those changes, I'm not sure who came to this last year because I know I didn't. The honors diploma is still 20 credits. We still require the intro to honors and a seminar course. The difference is we've added a capstone or portfolio requirement for them to graduate with the diploma. We have increased the volunteer hours to 40, which really came from the students who told us that 10 wasn't enough. So our advisory committee increased those hours, which really is about 10 a semester for most of our students if they do the traditional 4 semesters. And then there is the leadership requirement still, so many students do the Student Life Leadership Retreat, but we have implemented a new leadership course in the honors program that students have that option to take as well. However, if you get questions, I will work with students on another way to satisfy that requirement. I've allowed veterans to have that requirement fulfilled based on their experience. There are some options for online completion of a leadership component with PTK. So they do have some other opportunities. The certificate has not changed significantly. It's still 13 credits, requires the Intro to Honors course. However, the volunteer hours are 20 instead of 10 for the certificate. I did mention that our scholarship opportunities are largely the same. They're still $50 per honors credit. If you ever get questions, it shows up as School of Arts and Sciences on their account. Sometimes I have to manually process those, so sometimes I do miss them. So just send the students to me, and I can take a look at their account. We do have 19 Jack Kent Cook Scholars now, which is awesome. I have 6 semifinalists this year, and we'll find out in about a month if we have any new winners. And so we do have the Burnett Honors College pathway. So for honors to honors transfer, students are sometimes confused. They do need a 3.5. They can graduate from us with a little lower, but UCF's Honors College requires a 3.5. We do, however, have a new partnership with the University of North Florida, and so students who finish our honors diploma and have a 3.4 GPA can go into their Hicks Honors College at UNF. As far as the biggest change coming for next year is my advisory committee has raised our GPA requirement to a 3.4 cumulative GPA. This was just based on some research that I did on the 3 years that I've been here. Most of our students have above a 3.5. So when we looked at who's in the program, what are they applying with, what are they graduating with, by and large, they're well above the 3.4 GPA. And the faculty were concerned that some of the students that had the 3.2 were not quite making it in their courses, so we did increase that to a 3.5. That's all I've got. So you have any questions?
Do most of the students transfer into UCF's honors program after leaving Seminole State, or?
That's a perception I have, yes, but more and more I have students who are looking at other institutions.
Other colleges?
Yeah, so I have a lot of students looking at Rollins and Stetson, or UF, FSU. So it really kind of varies. I think they usually come in thinking they're going to go to UCF, but then tend to change their minds later on. So we will provide them some transfer assistance beyond the UCF Direct Connect and help prepare them with their applications and whatnot. But I'd probably say it's about 50-50.
Okay. Any other questions?
No? Thank you. Made my life easy.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Hi, I am Michelle Hutto, and I am with the Workforce Education Programs. We are housed in the D building. Not a lot of people know what we do over there, let alone that we're even over there. So hopefully I can give you some information that will help when you have students come your way with us. The coordinators in workforce education are also considered advisors, but we're limited advisors. I have the advisor tab. I can see the information as long as they're coded in my program that I need. So most of the time you can just send them to us. However, I'm sure some of them are going to want some information if they're sitting in front of you first. So I'll start with our construction apprenticeship programs. Those are super unique in the sense that we batch application and register these students. So if you have a student come in that has an interest in apprenticeship, those students pretty much just need to be sent straight to us because they have to be employed full-time working in that industry to even qualify to be in the program, and then their employer has to agree to sponsor them in the program, and we do in-house applications and registration and all that good stuff. So very unique program. So when it comes to apprenticeship, and you probably won't get a lot of apprenticeship interest. Our students from apprenticeship come from our employers, but every now and then someone will come in and say they're interested in one of the apprenticeship programs. So those are easy. I did list each of the apprenticeship programs that we offer, and I apologize that I don't have this information to stream to the others. I can leave or send the packets that I created to them, but we have 3 apprenticeship programs: electrical, coordinated by Frank Ramos; fire sprinkler, which is myself, Michelle Hutto; and then plumbing is coordinated by Joshua Trujillo. And all of that information is on here. Then we'll go to our PSAV certificates. These are our more traditional students who come in to apply for admission. These are all departmental consent programs. So no matter what, they have to see us or at least speak to us to get into these programs. So for fall, for 2021, we are going to be offering the following programs. We have Building Trade Technologies. Building Trade Technologies is replacing, it's just formerly called General Building Maintenance, just a name change. It was revised slightly in how we were running it because we were running that program for an employee partner, and we kind of changed paths with them. So we kind of revised it. That program is designed for, well, it could be a bunch of different things. It could be someone who really wants to just do general building maintenance in any kind of building. So they're going to get a little bit of carpentry, a little bit of electrical, a little bit of plumbing, a little bit of HVAC, some masonry skills. We've heard from students that they want to do it for house flipping, so buying homes and flipping them, so they would get those basic skills as well. It's really a program that we really want to get going. So if we were going to advertise, really push any program, it's going to be this one. Electrician Helper is a program that we've been running for a couple of years. We have an electrical apprenticeship program where students work full-time during the day and go to school at night for a 4-year period. Electrician Helper gives them the opportunity to get some skills first before they go out and get the job. And then from there, they could feed into the apprenticeship program and finish it up if they wanted to. So that will be an active program in the fall. And then the heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and refrigeration programs. Those by far are the most popular, kind of a no-brainer here in Central Florida. We offer, the state has a 1,350-hour program, and we offer it in 2 different chunks. Most students only complete Mechanic 1 because they have more than enough skills to become employable. I do have a handful that come back for Mechanic 2 the next year, but most get their jobs and then just stay out in the industry for the most part. And then the last one, which will be a brand new program for us in the fall, will be plumbing. Again, we have a plumbing apprenticeship program, but have to be working full time. go to school at night. This will give them an opportunity to get those skills first, then get the job, and maybe continue in the apprenticeship program from there if they want to. All of these programs are designed to be completed either in 2 semesters or 3. HVAC Mechanic 1 is a 2-semester full-time day program. Building Trades Technologies, Electrician Helper, and Plumbing will all be 3 semesters, so a full year to get through those. Still, again, full-time during the day, typically 3 days a week, anywhere from 6 to 7 hours, both in classroom and online. They are hybrid courses. The only note that I have that's kind of important, and this would be when they may be wondering which program to choose, and maybe that's not your level, maybe they've already done that at application. The full HVAC program, the 1,350-hour program, is really not out there. Well, it's not designed to be out there for an open enrollment general public student. That is what we're using now for our employee partnership with Universal Studios. And so I'm trying to see if there's a way that I can kind of get that program kind of hidden without it. I don't know, there's some rule or something about it has to be on the website to be active. So I'm trying to figure out how to do that so that there's not too much confusion for a student, because nothing is worse than when they get to me and saying, well, you're coded in the wrong program, you now have to make a new app to get into the right program. So I'm just trying to stop that from happening. If you're talking to them, though, they can be guided towards that Mechanic 1 program. Oh. Oh, is that the answer? Yes. I will ask that to, I think that's probably a curriculum committee or a curriculum question. I will definitely, that would be awesome. Yeah, because I just need that. I just need that little caveat there that says, no, you're not eligible for this full program. Ultimately, they can get the full program. They just have to take it as Mechanic 1 and then Mechanic 2. They just can't, if they tried to take it on the 1,350-hour track, it would be an issue because those students only meet 2 days a week. It's over a 2-year period. So they probably, at the end of the day, wouldn't want it when they know they could get through the other one much faster. But I will look into that. Thank you. Okay, so I did attach flyers of each of our programs for you so that you can see, because these flyers really have a lot of information on them in the sense of, obviously general description and then our admission requirements. For our PSAVs, they're pretty much all the same. 18 years of age. You do not need high school diploma for our programs. But if they're going to use financial aid, obviously they have to have those transcripts on file. But just to be in the program, they do not need a high school diploma. And then, of course, unless otherwise exempt, they would have to take that TABE test. We do, even though the rule officially is for 6 weeks, we do really push to get them TABed before they start the program. This helps our instructors know where they're at. This helps just getting it done and also helps start remediation if needed as well. So I kind of make it a rule that I won't approve them in unless they've taken it, unless we get down to those last few days and I don't want them to miss out the opportunity of starting the program. Then I will typically allow that in and then just keep on them about getting it done. So these programs are obviously TABE exempt for the typical high school graduation after 2007 Florida high school. I have found a way that if they bring in, even though vocational doesn't evaluate college transcripts when they come in, I can print them off of OnBase and send them forward to the testing center if they've completed college level math and English, and I can request that they be given a TABE exemption. That way, that's a case-by-case situation, but they have allowed that process for us to be able to do that. So each of the flyers are attached, and then if you want me, I can email these flyers to you if you want to be able to print them out on color or just want to be able to have it, I'm happy to do that for you. I just provided a copy so that you at least know who the coordinator is, who you're referring that individual to, as well as the basic information on the program and then the admission requirements. The one thing that we ask for a change this year, and it doesn't happen a lot most semesters, but then we have some semesters that we get it a lot, and that is that someone will just pop in and go, yeah, I was just over there and they just told me to come see you. We're asking that we ask them to make appointments at least. We have a lot of students, we have a lot of stuff going on over there, and it's very hard for me to say no, especially when they're standing right in front of me, and sometimes that means stopping something that's kind of important, maybe time sensitive, so that I can take care of them. And I want to be able to give my students the time that they deserve, and that doesn't always happen when they just show up, and I can't say no, because I can't tell them, no, you have to make an appointment, I'm sorry, because I'm physically there at that point, and I just can't do it. So I have asked for access to the calendar that you guys have that you can set up and allow appointments to be made by clicking on our name. I'm trying to get that because that would be huge and very helpful for us. And then, they can call or email and we can schedule appointments that way. Because I also like to schedule tours of our labs because a lot of them don't really know what they want to do, and this gives them an opportunity to kind of see everything that we have. And if they haven't decided before they walk over there after a tour, they know this is something they want to do. So that's always a really good thing too. So that's really all I had, but it sounds like maybe I didn't know exactly what I was doing here. So do you all have questions for me, or do you guys get a lot of our students? Yeah, I think it's getting better. I think they know now where to go, what area we are, especially if they make application online and then they see that we're their assigned advisor. So it's getting better for sure. So
I also just wanted to add that if anyone has any questions related to the vocational programs, they can also always contact Catherine Leimer. Her extension is 2610 since she works closely with Michelle, Frank, and Dougie with the vocational programs.
Yes, definitely. All right. Well, I hope that was enough information. I feel horrible that I don't feel like I had a good enough presentation, but I'm always available if we can answer any questions. Okay? All right, thank you. Do you want me to leave these?
Good afternoon. My name is Jim Lee. I'm the Dean at the Center for Public Safety, and we have facilities here on the campus. Our building is just turned 10 years old, and it was a concept that was brought together by my former boss, Dr. Angela Kirstenbrock, and some others through the college to bring together all of the first responders, everything that you would see in a major traffic crash, fire, EMS, and criminal justice. If they're going to work together, train together. And the integration of the programs has helped tremendously. Just within the past year, the faculty from not only that, but nursing and pharmacy and so forth over the Altamont campus got together and had a training exercise which was exemplary. It was brought together all of the disciplines, and that's what we've tried to do, is to make everything integrate with everything else. But they are very specific programs. The three major disciplines in ours are, of course, the fire standards, which Jim Jolly is going to talk to you about, the academies, and the Fire Science College credit. And then I'm going to give you a little brief later about the EMS, which is the paramedic and EMT mostly. And then Mr. Jim Charles is going to talk to you about the Law Enforcement Academy. And I'll also fill in for Sandra Dillard, who is the program manager for the Associate in Science in Criminal Justice. And the reason that, as you know, you've seen what we're dealing with the coronavirus, and that's why we're very short-staffed today. But I think we'll be able to give you what you need to work with. And, of course, if you have any questions, we'll certainly be glad to answer those for you. So I'm going to ask, let's see, Jim, if you could come on up, and Jim Jolly. We have 4 Jims over there, so that's always easy to keep up with. We've got Jim Jolly, Jim Charles, Jim Lee, and Jim Rux, who is a professor in EMT. So I'll lay all that out for you so that you can understand you're not hearing things.
Hey, y'all. Well, good afternoon. Glad to be here. Again, my name is Jim Jolly. I'm the Fire Science Program Manager. What we do when people come into the Fire Academy, there's a couple of different ways they can come in. They do not have to be a firefighter to take the degree class. That's a big thing, okay? And I know good and well if you have somebody that shows up and they go, hey, listen, I want to be the fire inspector. I want to take some of these classes. Have them immediately just go contact Angelia Smith. That is the best way to make sure that the right person's going to the right advisor. So that's going to be the big one right there. But we talk about the AS and fire science. We'll talk about that just a little bit. Again, if you look down, we have a standard 60-hour credit for the degree program. Okay. Right now, 100% of our degree can be taken online with a handful of classes that have to be taken in-house. And those classes are all elective, so they're kind of beside the point, okay? You have a lot of people, and I have a lot of people email me through the website looking for an inspector's program. That's something that we teach in-house. But again, because at the Department of Education, they daggered that certificate program, so now that certificate's not available, but we still teach the classes in our degree, which means as soon as they break over 11 hours, they have to have they have to start taking Englishes and maths and stuff like that. So we have people in the program right now. We have, as a matter of fact, I'm teaching a class that started yesterday. It's got 7 people in it. Okay. And again, these programs aren't highly, what can I say about this? They're not highly sought after to be an inspector. They're highly sought after to get a promotion in the fire service. So as you can imagine, they're going to be taking a lot of third-party classes through other areas that are, they're much cheaper. So it's an easy thing for them to get. Do y'all have any questions so far on the AS and fire science? Anybody? No? Okay, we'll keep moving. Okay, so we're going to move on to the Firefighting Academy. The interesting thing about the Firefighting Academy, you have to be an EMT to get into the program, or you have to at least finish the program successfully before you can start our Fire Academy. What's not helped a lot is that every semester when we have 4 entry points, we have 2 daytime academies and 2 nighttime academies, and they offset each other. Okay, so we'll always have one class that's a semester ahead of the second class that just starts. The issue with that whole thing is that we do not let them even apply to the Fire Academy until they have completed the EMT program. Okay, so that's a big one with us. All right, we're one of the only programs that do that. Everybody else, they want them in their Fire Academy. They don't care about EMS, but we have a program here that follows them along. To get into the Fire Academy, it's getting ready to expand hours. Right now, we're at 398. Okay. The cool thing about that, is that we're able to offer the program in 3 terms. So we have an A term, a B term, and a C term, and we were able to block those out. That works great until the department came back from the state in Ocala and said, we're also going to add another 100 hours to the program. 50 hours would have been awesome because that's what we were until they told us to back off. So we backed off a year ago. Now they want to add 100. So we are figuring out a way to make sure that can still be offered within the 3 terms. So that's going to be a challenge for us, but we should be able to do it. Okay. One of the things about the Fire Academy, they don't call us, they don't email us. I mean, they can, because we get the emails that go into our inbox, and I just respond back from the Fire Academy at seminolestate.edu, and we'll tell them, make sure you sign up online for the information session. We only accept 40 people, and we do it 3 times, once a week for 3 weeks. And let's see, a semester and a half ago, we had 90 applicants for 35 seats. So you can see how, if we're not careful on how we do this, it can put us in a bind to try to make sure we're getting the right people. We think we're getting the right people, we assign points for whatever is needed, and then as soon as they show up and then they do one PT morning, they're like, this sucks, and they leave. So that's kind of big for us. Other than that, we are adding an entry-level PT assessment, screening, yep. And right now we're getting ready to start it here, coming in. As a matter of fact, it'll be tonight, not tonight, it'll be Saturday. Saturday they're going to start the evaluation process of what screening effects that we've tried to use to see if it's acceptable. So I know we've had an awful lot of students show up and they're gone within 2 weeks. So we start with 35 and we're down to 29, 28, 27, and it keeps working its way down. So other than that, that's kind of it. Do you guys have any questions for me? No? Awesome. Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jim Charles. I'm the program manager over at the Center for Public Safety for the Basic Law Enforcement Academies. I am one of the 3 original pet boys of public safety, and then we added a 4th being Jim Rux. So I like to start off every one of these events with, if you're ever in a department meeting with us and you say Jim and all 4 of us are there, don't be surprised you get 4 blank faces looking at you. But anyway, we're here to talk about the Basic Law Enforcement, Corrections, and Crossover Academies. I'll focus mostly on the Basic Law Enforcement, which is 770 hours long. It does qualify for financial aid. There is some out-of-pocket expenses with that, like uniforms and textbooks, to the tune of about $520. So that's a requirement just because the nature of the program requires it. We are governed by FDLE and the CJSTC, which is the training division of the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. All of our curriculum is state mandated. So whenever updates come out, they usually come out every July 1st. And as those updates come out, we have to update everything with the college so we can pass it on to students to stay current with the curriculum so that their certifications can remain valid. Incidentally, we're one of 40 training facilities in the state. I'd say that we're the best in the state, but I'm a little biased. And we run typically alternating day and night academies. The average enrollments for our day and night academies are vastly different depending on the time of year in which they come to the academy. So say August and September this coming fall, typically those are our highest enrollments for each one of those because students are getting out of high school, they're getting done with summer, they're picking this as a career, so we have a boost in enrollments then, whereas in the spring, not so much. But the average between the night classes that we run is about 25 to 35 students in any given year. And that's just one academy. So if we're running 2 different academies, you can do the math. Where our day academies typically in the fall, historically they have averaged about 35 to 40, but over the past 3 years they have been creeping up to the number of about 60, which we have had to divide it into 2 fall day academies. So we are busting at the seams, literally. So our programs are doing really well in that regard. And we're also doing sponsored academies more often and having more sponsored students by local agencies come into these regularly scheduled academies with self-paced students to help fill a shortage in the law enforcement industry right now. So it's a very popular program, and I don't see anything that's going to slow that down. And just to echo what Jim Lee and Jim Jolly have already said, Angelita Smith is a godsend to our office. She is an absolute treasure to have and is wonderful for our students as a resource. Great resource for us as program managers in making sure that we can get everything to them. And we always encourage anybody that's looking to cross from one program to another, have their academic advisor in the college degree program reach out to her if they're considering going into a vocational program, because she can help smooth that transition, especially between terms. That's always a big deal. There are some important factors to know about the basic law enforcement and corrections academies. Is that it is a limited access program. Not everybody can get into it. You have to be 19 years of age by the time the academy finishes. You can't have any felony convictions in your background. You can't have any misdemeanors involving perjury, false statement, or domestic violence, obviously. And if they were in the military, they cannot have a dishonorable discharge. And that is not criteria that the college has set. That's criteria that CJSTC and FDLE has set for us. So limited access is not like the rest of the college programs. We're pretty unique in a lot of regards, but that's because of state mandate and Florida statute. So it's a delicate balance between the two, but anybody, myself or Jim Lee are happy to answer any of those questions if you ever have them. Or you can reach out to Angelita if you can't get a hold of either one of us, and we'll be happy to filter that answer. And if we don't have an answer, we know where to get it. So I think that just about covers the programs. If you all have any questions. Anybody? Okay. Great.
Our department can be complex as far as understanding it from an outsider's point of view. And you've got 3 programs, but 2 of them are more aligned to each other than the other one. If you think of red and blue, the fire trucks are red, most of the police cars have blue lights. And the fire and EMS in most of Florida, and particularly in this area, are one. So the paramedics and the EMTs generally will work and respond with a fire department. You go to other areas of the country and they have a separate EMS response service which doesn't have any alignment with the fire department. They don't have firefighters that are trained. All they are is the paramedics and EMTs. And as Jim said, the EMT, which is a one-term course, is required for entry into the fire academy. And I think the best thing that I can tell you about our programs is our website. It's very rich, and we have information sessions. I would advise you to, for your benefit, familiarize yourself with everything that you can on that website, so that if you get a question, you may not deal with one of our students, but maybe a 2 or 3% of your time. But that way you won't get caught unaware. You can direct them to that and have enough working knowledge to where you can at least direct them. If you'll just do that, we can take care of the rest. Also, if you ever heard of the Geneva campus, that's where we do the driving and the firearms for the academy, and the fire department does their wildfire training out there. The reason you do that is because you don't want gun noise, squealing tires, and sirens around residential areas. It used to actually be here at the campus, and it moved out many years ago. But the key to our programs are the information sessions, and the reason we require that is because, just like you've heard from Jim and Jim, there are so many different requirements for our programs. EMT is also entry into the paramedic, which takes a full year. So by the time the EMS degree is 73 hours. So by the time you take the paramedic, which is a year long, and the additional term, you're almost there. They take a few more classes and they can get their EMS degree. And we, as I just have to echo, we've worked with Angelia Smith for several years. Before that, it was Amanda Taylor. And we just thought that she was the best in the world. And not to take anything away from her, but when she went to leave, we said, you'll never get us anybody that's as good as Amanda. And they said, Jim, promise, we'll do a great interview and see what we can do. And Angelia has just been a part of the family. She's very intuitive about our program. She's great with the students. And her key is that she keeps them from doing things they shouldn't do and makes sure that they do the things that they should. So she's very available and has really helped a lot. One of the big attractions to our criminal justice associate in science is that it's a 60-hour-long AS degree. But for anybody who has their current law enforcement certification, we will articulate 22 credits towards that 60. So they're a third of the way through just by having completed that. And that's not just our recent graduates. If you get, and you can help with this, if you get a law enforcement officer that's coming in to start taking some courses, you can make sure they're aware of that, because many of them aren't. And we've had ones that for whatever reason, whether it was family or just becoming acclimated to their new career, they put off their college credit training. So what they did is made that available. We had a state trooper that came through for a class, an advanced class, and Sandra Dillard went in there and told all about the program. He'd been out of high school 17 years. All he had was a high school degree. So he got started, everything's online, and shortly after he began the degree, the state trooper sent to the Panhandle after Hurricane Michael. So fortunately, they were able to get signal up there and had the computer in the car, and at night he would work on his college credit, finished it up. He's now working on his bachelor's degree, and he went and talked to the Board of Trustees. So that was just a great success story. For the correctional officers, we'll give them 16 credits towards it. So it's a great gift, and it helps get them started. Do you have any questions that you would like to ask me that maybe we haven't covered, or anything that you'd like to know about any of the programs? Because there are no stupid questions, trust me. All right, great. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Okay, perfect. My name is Annalise Bush. I'm the director of the Center for Global Engagement. Thank you guys so much for inviting us to be here. My colleague Barb Pruka, who is the person who really, I think, collaborates with your area the most, is unfortunately stuck in Italy. And she will hopefully be back at some point this month. In any case, I'm here basically so you guys know who I am, and to just kind of say, I know we put together a process, I think at the end of last semester, really worked out, kind of how the collaboration was going to work between global engagement and your guys' area to make sure that we're able to advise students properly, get those courses approved when students participate in a study abroad program, and where they go first, and then who they go to see, and then who signs off on that, and how they kind of go through a process. So we have like a 6-page document that students have to get signed off at different areas, obviously from their advisor, global engagement, also financial aid, I believe. So that process is obviously still kind of being tweaked. We have 3 students who are currently abroad this semester, and I think they went through, certainly 2 of those students went through that process this semester, had some feedback for us. So we're really looking to kind of get that and sit down and have a nice conversation about, what things are super necessary, what things maybe we could eliminate to make it more streamlined for us and for the students, so the students not going back and forth like a ping pong ball, and also, to ensure that the students really have no issue when they come back with those credits, to get those uploaded right away, to their Seminole State transcripts. So that's basically where we are. I foresee probably, maybe when things calm down a little bit here in April, as we get towards the end of the semester, a nice meeting that we can sit down and kind of exchange, perspectives on how it has been. Because Barb has really done a good job communicating with the students as to how they found the process. And obviously we want it to be student friendly. And so I think she'll be able to elaborate a little bit more on that. But as far as anything specific or any real particulars on that, I know we're still in the process of kind of modifying this and work out some of the issues. So I don't want to sign Barb up and say, yes, that's perfect, sounds good, we'll do this, that, or, whatever it might be. So, Barb is the one who will obviously be most involved in this process as we go forward. So that's really all I can add to that, but I just wanted to make sure I was here and, kind of, you guys know who I am, and get to see you guys. And if there's anything else that comes up, definitely feel free to reach out. If you need to get a hold of me in the interim while Barb is not here, I'm really handling all of those things. So but next semester we're hoping to have probably 5 to 7 students have expressed interest in going. They still want to go, depending on how things are going, obviously internationally, but that's where things stand. And obviously we'll work to make sure those students get their 6-page document, everything signed off before they go and repeat the process. Do you guys have any questions at all for me? No? Okay. Well, if anything comes up, definitely feel free, reach out, and we'd be happy to address whatever comes up as you guys interact with students or people have questions. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Awesome. Thank you guys.
Thanks, you too. Okay, that ends interactions today. We will be back here tomorrow at 12:30. Thank you.